Digital inclusion is no longer optional. With new regulations like the EU Accessibility Act, accessible design is now a requirement across industries and regions. The A4Q Certified Professional Digital Accessibility Certification equips you with practical skills to design and build digital experiences that include everyone. From WC, AG guidelines, and assistive tools to inclusive design, thinking, and accessibility testing, gain the knowledge to make a real impact. Learn, create, include. Get certified in digital accessibility.
Hello and welcome back to another session of A4Q Testing Summit. My name is Atefa Amlashi and I'm your host for this session. Here I have Radoslav Smilgin with me. Radek is a mentor, an independent consultant, a trainer in the field of software testing, requirements engineering, and quality assurance. He's also the creator and owner of Testerze Poland, actually longest running Poland's portal in software quality. Welcome, Radek, to this session.
Hello, Atefa.
Accessibility shouldn't be an afterthought in the quality. In this session, Radek explores the challenges of making software testing education and certification more inclusive, with a lesson learned from a real-world experience. I'm super excited to hear about that. But before handing over to Radek, I would like to say if you like this presentation, you can go to our website and vote for Radek. Radek, stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for choosing my presentation because you have amazing event running right now and a lot of good presentation going on. So yeah, you are here with me to hear the story, the journey about how I try to train blind people to pass the ISTQB exam. And to spoiler what I'm going to say, it was a hell. So you might say that hell sounds quite dramatic, but it's fully accurate. And during this whole presentation, I will convince you that we as a community, software testing community, and especially ISTQB, has a problem. We have a problem with accessibility. So first of all, a few words about myself. Of course, Atefa told you something about me, but just to present my skills and to show you how I'm experiencing ISTQB is, I would like to tell you a few words about myself. On this picture, I'm together with David, who is a colleague of mine. He's a blind person. We are in Copenhagen, and that was my first possibility to actually guide a blind person through the streets, a city that I actually didn't know. And I had a very similar experience to train people with ISTQB materials to prepare them for the exam. Even though that I'm a trainer for last 20 years, I have almost 25 years of experience in software testing, it was actually very, very difficult. And I thought that I know almost everything. I am a conference speaker. I am also the trainer. I am accredited trainer. I have accredited materials. I am a training provider back in Poland. So you might say, with such experience, I shouldn't have any problems to prepare anyone for the exam. That was also my fault, that I'm able to prepare almost everyone for the exam. But that wasn't actually true. And I'm going to show you what kind of obstacles, what kind of problems I have faced during this, you might say, simple task. So the first assumption was that we should train people with software testing skill just to provide them with the knowledge to help us test accessibility. And this is something that sounds quite obvious, because if we are willing to collect information about accessibility, we should first ask people with disabilities. So looking for answer, or looking for the possibility to actually cover 100% of all success criteria and to prove that software is actually accessible to the user, we actually need to work with people with disabilities, especially with the blind one. So my whole presentation will be focused on this disability, but we don't forget about any others that will limit our or other people access to the software. So the task was to prepare and conduct ISTQB foundation level training for people with disabilities. I was asked to do that, but I was really keen to try it, because I thought it is not only a matter of exploring my own skills as a trainer, but also to improve. If I'm able to teach people which are actually have problems with the communication, with seeing different training materials, I will be able to be a better trainer for all others. And in the end, the verification for this task was to check if the blind person is really able to pass the ISTQB exam. And spoiler again, alert, I had 10 people during my training, and I will provide you with information how many of those passed the exam. Another assumption was that we actually need to test with people with disabilities. And this is not the matter of like being nice for the people with disabilities. Is a matter of really delivering accessible software. And why is that? Before the training itself, and for the past couple of years, I have conducted some experiments on the accessibility tools, also on the AI solutions, also with the manual testers, to check what kind of coverage they can achieve for the success criteria of WCAG. And the results, maybe it's not a scientific constant, maybe this is not something that it's, the numbers are maybe not fully reliable, but this is something that I have done. So I believe this is to some extent true. If you test software with the tools like Axecor, for example, even though that the tool provider will tell you that they will cover 60%, almost 60% of the all success criteria, the truth is they cover less than 10%. If you try extend abilities of a tool with MCP, adding some AI support, in this case, this will be cloud, you will get around 20% coverage. Manual tester, in general, with some skills and at least 2 years of experience, will cover around 80%. But to actually get to the 100%, to check all the rules, you need people with disabilities. And why is that? Because manual testers do not, in general, use assistive technology. And this is a tool that people with disabilities use every day. So to actually be fully convinced or convince others that software is accessible, you need to test it with people with disabilities. And not only one person, but with more than one person. And why is that? I will comment on that later. And there is ISTQB, which is well known software testing certification scheme, a lot of certification, different ones that you can find on the website. But the truth is, it is not built for people with the impaired vision. So if they have a problem with seeing things, ISTQB will be a journey through the hall for them. Why is that? I will also comment later. And even though that on ISTQB website, you will find a lot of statements about high quality, depth learning, global accessibility offering, openly available, unfortunately, it is not true. There is a huge problem with accessibility within ISTQB. First of all, we should look at disabilities, different kind of disabilities. So I will strongly encourage you to read Microsoft guidebook, the inclusive one. It is very good publication about different disabilities, especially with this permanent, temporary, and situational disabilities. And the major thought behind the Microsoft design is that everyone can be in some way disabled during some kind of situation. For example, if you are driving a car, you can be distracted, so you cannot see some things. Just like people which are temporary don't see, people with cataract, or permanent, like just blind people. So if we create, the major point here is, if we create software for the blind people, we actually help also people without any disabilities. And this is quite important. So we have guidebooks. We also have some laws. I will focus on the European Union since I'm from Poland, European country, and we already created a lot of different laws. Every country has its own law which is devoted to the accessibility, and still, even though that there are some laws, there are still problems with systems that cannot be used by real users. So I'm not claiming that accessibility laws are actually not needed. I think there is a value in that. You can actually force some parties, private sector, public sector, to create accessible website, but this is not enough. And now we'll also show you why is that. When it comes to European Union, there is Accessibility Act, which is on top of all the acts that I have shown you before, but it is based on WCAG 2.1 mostly, in which we have 78 success criteria that I have mentioned before that we need to cover on 3 different levels, A, AAA, and AA and AAA. And also based on the WCAG, European norm was created 301549, which give you 50 mandatory criteria that you need to fulfill to actually claim that you're compliant with the WCAG. And this is still quite problematic. And why is that? It is because even though that we have so many laws, so many standards, reports shows that we still have a problem with the accessibility. And there is one which is quite famous and popular in the accessibility environment, between different researchers. Is used as a benchmark for checking the level of accessibility of the internet nowadays. So the newest report from 2026 show us that almost 96% of the homepages of different websites, and those are 1 million top websites on the internet, have some kind of WCAG failures. And one more problem with this value with this metric is that is only checked automatically. So with the manual checks, you will probably find that almost 99.9% of the website are not accessible. And here comes the problem, because it's same with the ISTQB. The ISTQB website is inaccessible. If you run simple tool like Wave, which I strongly recommend, you will find some errors. Some of them are actually blockers for people to use the website. And the point is not to shame them or just to show that they are just not any better, but there is something totally wrong here, because you have this whole ecosystem around software testing certification, which contains accessibility barriers. And we say, as a software testing community, that accessibility matters. But on the other hand, we say, not here. We say quality matters, but not here, not on the organization that actually should provide quality. And the other statement that you can find on the ISTQB website is that everyone can join the profession. Everyone can become a software tester. But if you look at this report, you might say, okay, you can join the profession unless you need assistive technology. If you need some additional tools to use the website, then you will have a problem. You need to see to actually use it. But there is one very important point that I have learned during the meeting, during the training that I had with people with the disabilities. And the problem was, or the statement from their side was, that in most of the cases, they are not really they don't care about WCAG. So the standard that was created for them to create accessible website is actually not really popular in this community of people with disabilities. And why is that? Because even tools that are created to check WCAG are also unavailable. So they are not able to use them. They are not able to verify some of the WCAG rules. And most important question for them is, can they actually use the software? So WCAG doesn't matter in general. The problem is, or the question that they ask is, am I able to use the software? And even though that the software can be accessible for them, there is additional problem that there are different people with different disabilities. They have different vision, different understanding of the software or of the world. They have different environments. They are using different assistive technology. So testing with one person is just not enough. So just to summarize, for most of the people that I have met with the disabilities, WCAG doesn't matter. In general, they care about the accessibility and they call it availability. The software need to be available for them, but software created for some people might to be accessible, might be not accessible for others. And going to the major point, ISTQB is not accessible. And you can check this on many different layers. You can verify it on by your own, because I have done it, so it is already checked. So if you say that the whole process is a chain and it contains many different links, so from my perspective, in ISTQB, all the links are broken. So syllabi is not accessible. The current version is inaccessible for people with disabilities, especially for the impairment vision. And I mean mostly Polish one, but it is the same with the English version. The exam examples provided by ISTQB are also inaccessible. Same with the training materials. They need to be converted or redesigned to be actually prepared for the people with the different limitations in their perception, especially when it comes to accredited materials, because this is not something that is checked by the boards, member boards of ISTQB. Only content matters. The way the content is presented does not matter. The exam registration websites are unavailable or inaccessible. Same with the exam systems. And in the end, proctors that should be administer the exams for the people with disabilities are not prepared to work with people which are blind. So many different problems, and the whole process is actually broken. It can be fixed, but for the moment I have prepared my training, it was totally broken. So that was the first major problem. That was a starting point. So I decided that I at least need to fix some of these elements. So I have started with materials. I have a lot of materials, different materials, preparing for ISTQB training. There are some PDFs, some pictures, some Word files, presentations, examples, exercises, and so on. And after the short check, I have noticed that all of them are inaccessible. So it is not only to convert the files, all these materials need to be redesigned. How to do that, I will show you just in a moment. The other topic was the access to the syllabi, because this is obligatory. If you want to prepare for the exam, first you need to read the syllabi. To read the syllabi, you need to download it. You need to download it from the ISTQB website, which is inaccessible. And there is some kind of solution available on the website. It is called Decorative Layer, a special plugin for the websites to make them accessible. And you can believe me, or you can try it by yourself. Most of those plugins do not work. They are not work correctly. They are not supporting people with disabilities. So actually, when you have this plugin, it is almost saying to the blind people they are not allowed on the website, because they will not be able to use it. If you want to create a real accessible website, you need to actually start from the scratch, from the beginning. You need to design website to be accessible. So person without person with problems with seeing things, without with problem with disabilities of seeing what is on the website, will not be able to download the syllabi. So they need assistance. So let's assume that they found a person who helped them, assist them to download the PDF file from the ISTQB website. And then there is another problem. The PDF is inaccessible. The PDF with the syllabi is inaccessible as well. So there are a lot of different problems, like missing tags, incorrect reading order, no title, problem with headings, with list. Everything is broken within those files. And actually, you can check this by yourself. There is a very good tool that I have used, Pave. At the time I have used it, it was 1.0. Now we have version 2.0, which is even better, because it's not only testing tool, but also helping you to redesign the document. So I strongly encourage you to try, and you can run it on the PDF, and you will see that there are a lot of problems. And again, it is possible to read it, but it is really slow. It is frustrating and very expensive on the cognitive level. So it actually requires a lot of effort from the people with the disabilities. So this is a syllabi. but this is something that we actually could try to fix, and we have actually tried it. I have received the doc file from Polish testing board to try to fix some problems. As you can see, there are some errors. If you run accessibility assistance on the Word from the Microsoft Office, you will find a quite good tool to remove some problems. And despite the fact that you have already some tools included in the Word, you can also use this very simple checklist. There are many checklists like this. I will not go through all those points here, but it is not problem to find any of or good documents, good guidelines how to create accessible documents. But still, even if you fix the content, it is not enough. There is a lot of different elements that you need to fix as well. Like, for example, file information. You need to add file information to provide blind people with information what they will find within the document. So adding title, subject is not optional, it is mandatory. Another problem that you need to keep in mind is exporting. You cannot just save as PDF file. You need to mark those presented options, because if you export it to the PDF as an image, then it won't be, it will be unreadable for people with disabilities. So if you complete all of those, in the end, you will get for sure Word file which is accessible. This one is here is a Polish foundation level syllabi. As you can see, no issues were found. But this is still only the first phase. The next one will be to test it with people with disabilities. And once again, you need to keep in mind that you should test it with people with different disabilities, and not with the one person, but it will be great to test with many. How many? It depends, as always in software testing. But if you have like 6 to 8 testers, you will probably get a quite good document. So I was able to fix the problem with the syllabi. It was prepared. It is accessible now. So the next step was to prepare a training material. And once again, those are slides from Polish presentation, so you will not understand what is written here, but you might have some kind of feeling if you ISTQB certified. On the left side, you see the original slide from training. On the right side, you will see how it will look like after transformation. So actually, we need to rewrite everything. We need to remove pictures. We need to leave only text, because this is readable for the assistive technology. It is much simpler, much easier to use for people with disabilities. So the training materials look like exactly like you see on the slide on the right side. Of course, I was using, to conduct the presentation, I was using my own slides. It doesn't really matter for people, for the blind people, what I'm presenting, because they don't see what is on the screen, most of them. But locally on their devices, they had this text version of presentation. Another problem with training materials is pictures, especially with the agile testing quadrants, because this one is quite complicated. And on the left side, you see the picture itself. On the right side, you see the description. And this one is actually rewrite linearly. So to help people to understand what is on the picture, you need to present everything, all the information in the linear way. So present the axis, horizontal and vertical, present what are the elements on the axis, and then one by one present all the quadrants, all the information that are on the slide. And then when I was almost ready to conduct the presentation, the training started. So this is the first day. This is actually pictures taken during the first minutes of the training. The faces are blurred for the privacy reason, of course. And as you can see, the room is inaccessible as well. So we had some head injuries from our participants. I wasn't responsible for the room, but I was trying my best to help them not to get hurt. And that was actually first surprised that happened during the training. I have noticed that they have different devices. Some of them used laptops. Some of them used computers without screens. Some of them had magnifiers, some just tools to help them enlarge some things. They had screen readers. They used their phones. And another important lesson was that I made some assumption before the training. I thought that they are all quite powerful with the technology, especially assistive technology, and that wasn't true. So the best thing that you can do with training people with disability, it is not make any assumption, because we think about blind people in very stereotype way. We need to remove all the assumptions. Of course, they told me that was one of the first information that they told me, that they don't really care about the accessibility acts. They have learned in the past that it actually didn't change anything. There is a lot of laws, and still websites are inaccessible. So once again, I will emphasize this as well again. People with disabilities don't ask if the website meets WCAG rules. The most important thing is it accessible for them? So there were many powerful lessons during this training. I wasn't really surprised with many things. Like, for example, during the break, I was asked to prepare some tea. And why is that? Because coffee machine and hot water machine were not accessible. So they were afraid to get burned. So I needed to prepare tea and coffee for some of the participants. I have learned a lot from them with the problems that they're facing during the daily operating with the software, with the problems that they are facing outside with the architecture and so on. I have learned that only 16% of the blind people work professionally. And I could say that this is actually systematic exclusion, especially when we talk so much and so often about accessibility, that we should create accessible software, but we do not employ people with disabilities to check the software. Other surprise was that some of them don't use computer-only phones. Everything what they are doing, they do on the phone. So once again, make no assumption when you work with the people with disabilities. Another very important lesson was that there are different categories of visual impairments. Most of the participants had like 30% of things that they have seen, 70% damage of their seeing, visual impairments. There was a person who couldn't see 99%, so 1% of vision only, and that means that they can see light and darkness only. There was a person who can see at 100%, but has seen before, so they actually understand the world because they remember things from the childhood. And there was also a person who cannot see from the very beginning, from the birthday. So for this person, it was very difficult to explain things because he had no idea how the things look like, because he had never seen anything. Some additional pictures from the training. So as you can see, And the person on the right side is actually with his nose very close to the screen. On the left side, we have a boy reading again straight from the phone, like from 1 centimeter. And in the middle, we have a person who uses only assistive technology to navigate through the application or websites. So it is amazing experience just to see how those people struggle with technology, but also how they are good in finding a way to use even inaccessible website. I already have mentioned you about the magnifiers, so yeah, they have used it, and yeah, this is another amazing thing, just the computer without the screen. So only audio device and some reading assistive technology implemented. And those actually raise some questions for me, because this setup, this environment was actually not allowed during the exam. And the question was, can participant of the exam actually use notes, but making notes on the computer and use their own screen readers, and how to be sure that proctor is able to see the notes or hit the notes. Is the candidate able, or is it possible for a candidate to use any tool like Word or Notepad? How to prevent cheating? So yeah, the whole environment of training started to raise a question about exam itself. Yeah, just to answer how to prevent exclusion, how to really get to the point, achieve the task to prepare them for the exam. So training has ended. It was great 3 days that I have spent with those amazing people, and we stayed in the contact because I helped them afterwards, support them during the preparation. And we have faced some additional problems with the sample exams, but this is also a problem that is similar to the normal exam. The biggest problem seems to be tables, because they are really hard to even remember. If you see the table, you have no problem. But if you need to read it to people with disabilities, row by row, column by column, with the cell values, with the condition, actions, rules, and so on, it is very hard to remember. So this is not a matter of intelligence, it is a problem of design. And on the other hand, if you just recall all your experience with the tables, how often you use tables during your daily job, I would say not so often, probably. And still, this is some kind of obstacle to pass the exam, because there are many questions with tables, but not only tables, but also with the diagrams. And now imagine how to explain diagram to person that haven't seen anything in their whole life. So this is another problem. We needed to rewrite diagrams state by state to create some kind of transitions. Together with the transitions, we create some kind of pairs. So we have tried different forms of rewriting diagrams, and here you have solution, how to present it in different way. Any of these ways is actually accessible. It needs some effort from people taking the exam, but it's easier to understand than presenting the diagram how it looks like. So actually, we were able to prepare the proctors how to present different diagrams, different tables to participants during the exam. Additional problem, it's taking the exam online, and since I have tested the examination system, the Polish one, I have noticed also that there are a lot of problems and they are not able to use it. So the final solution was that the only way for participant with disability is to pass the exam on the offline version together with the proctor. But even though I have tried to use the examination system to test it, is it really accessible? It is not. You can see some problems which are found by the tool, but also manual tests were conducted on the examination system, and there are many different problems. So no language attribute, no labels for the elements on the website, no alt descriptions for the pictures. So you might say this is a list of defects. It is not. It is a list of defects that are blocking people with the disabilities to actually pass the exam online. And the irony here is painful, really painful. But in the end, the point is quite constructive because these are fixable problems. Everything can be fixed. And we even prepare the checklist how to create accessible exam, how to prepare proctors. And we have faced additional problems, like there are, in some cases, you can get additional 25% time during the exam, but this is actually not enough if you have people to whom you need to read the questions to help them answer. You need to prepare the whole environment for the exam, including special tools, assistive technology, possibility to create some notes during the exam, and also notes that can be audible to the proctor. So actually, the exam itself need to be taken face to face. Only one participant, only one proctor. So in the end, it happened. So the journey ends somewhere here. We have prepared the training material syllabi, conducted the training, and we help people to approach the exam. And a lot of materials were prepared for this whole project. So syllabus, especially the Polish one, was fixed and sent to Polish testing board. The training materials were fixed, specially prepared for the participants. This is something that we could do, and there are some other problems like exams. We cannot fix it by ourselves, so we send proposal how to fix the exam, how to fix the exam registration, how to fix the exam systems itself, just to help people to pass the exam online. And we prepared a checklist how to prepare proctors to work with people with disabilities. So I have promised you in the end to tell you, is there any happy end? And the answer is unfortunately no, at least not yet. And we need to say it honestly. We have started the change. We have tried something. We made some progress. We fixed materials. We have prepared ISTQB to be better with the accessibility, but still there is a lot of work to be done on the ISTQB side and also on the member boards as well. And if you ask me how many people passed the exam, only one person. So you might say this is a bad news, but from my perspective, it's a very good news because it is possible. We have proved that people that don't see are able to pass the exam. It is very difficult, but it's possible. So what happy end would actually mean? It will mean that the blind candidates can actually independently access the syllabi, access the training, attend the training, register for the exam, use sample exams and normal exam in the system that will be accessible. And we are unfortunately not there yet. And that's all. Thank you very much for your attention on this matter. If you want to contact me, there is my email address on the screen. I'm happy to help. If you want any of the materials that were prepared during this project, or you need any help to prepare your materials to be more accessible, do not hesitate to contact me. You can also contact me via LinkedIn. Once again, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Radek. Interesting topic, and yes, very challenging journey. Last week on May 21st, we had Global Accessibility Awareness Day. And it's very important to remember, okay, accessibility is not just one day thing. Thank you very much for sharing with us. And then as we talked about accessibility and we realized accessibility is very important, is there any syllabus related to accessibility at ISTQB portfolio?
There is no accessibility certification available. Some rules regarding the accessibility you will find on the syllabus like a foundation level.
Mm-hmm.
On the foundation level, also test analysis, I believe.
Mm-hmm. How about other scheme? Do you know about other scheme?
There are a lot of different certifications. The one was mentioned at the beginning of this presentation. So one from the R4Q, it is about the WCAG rules. So if you're not aware about the WCAG, so this is a good point to start. Actually, the WCAG website is a best way to start learning accessibility from their perspective. There are some others also, one that I have created, the one which is practical, during which you actually audit software. It is called MITC, but there are a lot of different ones. And yeah, some of them are quite expensive, but some of them are quite cheap. So yeah, you have many options to choose.
Thank you. So during this journey of working and training people with disability, what surprised you the most? I mean, what was there anything that completely changed your perspective?
Yes, of course. And one of the assumptions that I have made at the very beginning was that I will be in quite a depressing environment with people that are totally sad all the time. And that wasn't true. I have met excellent people, very funny and very happy people that just accept they have some kind of limitations, and they show me also that I have my own limitations. And yeah, that was a great lesson that I took during this project.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Radek, for sharing with us. We are on the second day of A4Q Testing Summit. If you like this presentation, please scan the QR code, go to our website and vote for Radek. And as I mentioned, we are at the second day, and at the same time, we have our parallel stream focusing on AI in English, and we have our French track sponsored by CFDL and German track sponsored with German Testing Board. If you missed any topic, any presentation, you can go back to our YouTube channel and watch it again. Thank you very much for joining. Again, thank you, Radek, for sharing with us. Have a good day.
Digital inclusion is no longer optional. With new regulations like the EU Accessibility Act, accessible design is now a requirement across industries and regions. The A4Q Certified Professional Digital Accessibility Certification equips you with practical skills to design and build digital experiences that include everyone. From WC, AG guidelines, and assistive tools to inclusive design, thinking, and accessibility testing, gain the knowledge to make a real impact. Learn, create, include. Get certified in digital accessibility